Hey there, guys. We're going to be going back to the Bogeyman Knights Legendary version for a, regular team clear. The fight was bugged the first week. When I did my 25 unit clear, it would constantly crash. There was no way to do the fight except for either OTKing it or using like a cheese method, like locking it down with Rainbow Whip or Lottie. The fight has now been fixed. The crash bug is no longer happening, so we can finally do a regular clear. Flipmethod explained to me the way to do this and convinced me to go back and give the fight another try. I had kind of written it off because that first week just really irritated me, but it's been fixed. Flipmethod explained the way to do it, so we're going to be going in with his method and taking out the fight the normal way. So it's kind of specific the way you got to do this, otherwise the boss gets permanent mitigation. So for one thing we're going to have is a passive provoke tank. You don't need passive provoke, but it is very, very helpful and recommended. And you want your provoker to be using a non-elemental weapon, because at some point in the fight he'll probably get berserked, and we don't want him hitting the boss with an element on a turn we're not ready for. So a non-elemental weapon on your provoker, otherwise some just high bulk. We're going to be using Fina for our healer and buffer. She's chosen because she buffs all resistances by 50%. All that really matters is dark and holy resist. You want 100% dark and holy on the whole team after a buff. She buffs by 50, so the whole team has 50 or higher dark and holy resist. We're going to take Galoof for his mitigation. That's really the only reason he's here for. He's not really tanking anything. But one thing that he is using is a dark weapon for physical. You need to hit the boss with physical element and magical element every other turn, but not on the same turn. It's a little complicated. Hopefully I'm explaining this properly. But he's going to hit the boss with physical dark on odd turns, and we're going to be using magical dark on even turns to cycle the boss. And we're never going to do both of them in the same turn. If you do, the boss gets permanent mitigation. So that's going to be his duty. Kryla is just going to be a breaker. You can use any breaker you want. She's chosen because her breaks do not hit the boss, which is going to be useful. If you do bring a breaker that hits the boss, just make sure they're wearing non-elemental weapons, and it's okay. As long as you're not using an element, it's fine. And we're going to use Wizardress Shantoto. I just got her recently. I'm going to take her for a spin. She's geared for Undead Killer and just some magic. And again, got 50 light and dark resist. The boss has evasion, so mages are a little bit easier. And we're taking Chromos, Wizardress Shantoto, same thing. Geared way better than mine, which is great. I think he's got a lot of Undead Killer too. Undead Killer. 250%, yeah, he is looking really good for this fight. Alright, so let's give it a go. So, we're going to alternate hitting the boss with dark physical on odd turns, dark magic on even turns, and never going to do the other one on the wrong turns. We're never going to use magic on odd turns, and we're never going to use physical on even turns. So here's the ambush. It's going to hit C card. We don't have any buffs up yet, so, it hurts a little bit. Okay, so we're just going to guard C card. Galoof is going to hit the boss with dark physical on an odd turn. We're also going to use his neutralizing blade to dispel at the same time. That's probably not even required. Actually, I think the boss put up, yeah. He put up break resist, so dispelling that break resist did actually help. Alright, Fina, we'll just do a dark and light resist, and we'll do a shining shear to get some heals in. Kryla will dark covenant and break. And again, we don't want to hit the boss with magical this turn. So all the Shantotos are going to do is just going to charge up. Now, I've never used Shantoto, so I'm going to be looking up her rotation as I go. We're going to Subtle Sorcery, Pride something or other, and then one is going to Mana Wall for the Magic Mitt, while the friend is going to Pride, Subtle Sorcery, and we're going to use her Cascade to boost her damage. Okay, so because we hit him with physical and we did not hit him with magic, he's going to change stance. Now the boss is weak to magic and resisting physical. Now your provoker is going to get paralyzed and all, but because he's passive provoking, we don't even care. We're just going to leave him paralyzed. So as you see here, the boss is now resisting physical attacks, and we can hurt him with magic. So we're going to use Galoof to Sworn Protection. This is just a mitigation buff. And we're going to deal some magical dark damage. So we're going to Salvation Scythe 3 times. Before we do that, we'll use Kryla to Jinx Debilitating Pot and then just unlock it again. And let's do some damage. So we push the threshold, which is fine. So we're going to get a little bit of damage here. So Fina will just Shining Cheer and Manatopia, you know, whatever. Alright, so because we used Magical Dark on an even turn, and we did not use any Physical Dark, or Physical of any element, it's not just Dark, it's any element whatsoever, the boss is going to change form. So now it's currently an odd turn. We want to use a physical attack. Alright, so, and the boss has this resistance to breaks, etc. You can dispel that, but it doesn't really matter. So we're going to use a physical attack. So we're just going to use Galoof's LB to reapply mitigation. This also hits with the dark. Remember, he's wearing a dark weapon. Alright, Kryla can just Debilitating and Dark Covenant every single turn. And we don't want to hit the boss with Magical Dark. So Shantoto will just basically chill out. We'll Mana Well and we'll Cascade. And I guess Mana Well again, you know, whatever. And this one will just Cascade. That boosts the damage for mods a little bit. And then Fina can just repeat. She's just keeping up Mana Regen and Shining Cheer. Alright, so on an odd turn, we hit him with physical. The boss is going to change form because we didn't use magic. Okay, now it's an even turn. The boss changed form. He is broken to Spirit because Kryla automatically breaks. The boss cures his breaks for defense or Spirit each other turn, but Kryla breaks automatically, which is why she's just convenient here. Alright, so we're going to use magic and we're not going to use physical. So we're going to Salvation Scythe 3 times. Salvation Scythe 3 times. Is he still imperiled? He should be. Yeah, one more turn. Okay, so we're going to do magic on an even turn. We push some thresholds, but the boss is pretty weak as long as you keep him broken, the thresholds or whatever, and keep those resist buffs up. So we will Divine Veil just for the resistance and Shining Cheer. Galoof, we don't really want to do anything with Galoof, so we'll just guard. You know, whatever. We don't want to hit him. Do not hit the boss with physical on even turns. Yeah, the boss does some AoEs. They're super, super weak. Like, his damage dealt is like nothing. Okay, so it's an odd turn. The boss is resistant to magic. We're going to use Physical Dark again. We'll just hit him with Galoof just to keep that mitigation up. Kryla will just repeat. We'll just guard Sieg. Fina can just repeat. And again, Shantoto, we don't want to hit the boss. We'll just use Pride, Mana Well, and Cascade. Friend will just Pride, Mana Well, and Cascade. Actually, is there other cooldown back up? It's not. Okay. What does Play Rough do? Play Rough is... Actually, Play Rough is the big magic buff. Well, I mean, we're going to win next turn anyway, so whatever. Looks like I should have been using Play Rough earlier. Oh well. My first time ever using Shantoto at 7-star. In a real fight. Okay, so there's the Berserk. And mana drains on your Provoker, but again, just, you know, you're provoking, who cares? And like, we're not using evasion or anything. The boss is hitting for 6 damage. He doesn't deal any damage. And, okay, so an even turn. It's time to use magic on him. So we're going to Salvation Scythe 3 times. And we win. Salvation Scythe 3 times. The mission is to use like 5 Limit Bursts. Because we're going to win here, we can like, you know, LB a bunch. He can't counter on our turn. Now you don't want to do that if you're not going to kill him this turn. obviously, because that will trigger bad things. Okay. So we did all the missions, I think. Wasn't there a mission to summon an Esper? I think there was. Oof, we should have put Silka's TMR in someone. Whatever, you get the point, you get the point. So there's the way to do the fight. Now that it's been fixed, it won't crash anymore. So if you're doing it this method, I recommend you hit him with Physical Dark on odd turns, Magical Dark on even turns, and you got to alternate every time. And and don't skip either. If you hit him with neither, it'll throw it off a little bit. So turn 1, hit him with Physical Dark, no magic. Turn 2, hit him with Magical Dark, no physical. And counterattacks can mess you up, so be very careful about anyone that has counterattacks. Non-elemental counterattacks are supposedly okay. I didn't test that, but Flip tells me they're okay. So if your tank does have counters, make sure they're using a non-elemental weapon. So there you go. There's the Bogeyman Ice Legendary version. I'll see you guys for the next one.